So you go there. And we're actually live right now, so everyone be real good. All right, do you see us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is my very first live Periscope interview.
This is my first one ever.
Oh my gosh, we're Periscope virgins.
Yes.
Okay, so Brittany Gibbons, if you don't know who Brittany Gibbons is, get with the program. She's famous, people. This is her book. It's called Fat Girl Walking, and a lot of people came to you because of the blog, Brittany herself.
Yes.
Which you still do.
Yes.
But you have been a body acceptance advocate.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a model. You've been everything.
Yeah.
It started from the blog, though. That was
Yes.
the first public thing you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for bloggers? Just to start. This doesn't happen for bloggers. I just feel like people think, I'm going to start a blog and get a book. It doesn't happen like that.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it really is just focusing on good content and finding something you're really passionate about. I've seen a lot of people kind of phone in causes left and right. And I think if you live it and bleed it the way that I do this, that only good things can come from it.
And what do you live and bleed? Your platform now, for the last 3 or 4 years, has really congealed. I mean, I think at first I wasn't, it's like she's a mom, she cooks, who knows what she's going to do. But it somehow, I think after the TED Talk, it solidified into you are a vocal, visual advocate for body acceptance.
Yeah, I am hugely passionate about women. And that is my priority, number one all the time.
What's the biggest challenge that you're kind of fighting against? Being this vocal, supporter of women.
You know, surprisingly, the biggest enemy women have in this is other women. It's easy to think it's anything else, but it's not. I've seen we tear each other down in ways that only we know how.
Right.
We're built for this. And
why do you think we are, though? Why do you think women do that?
Because every success that we have is based on something that's very superficial. It's based on our looks. It's based on, how we dress or anything. And so when all of our successes are tied to something like that, it's hard not to be insecure and competitive all the time. But there's room for all of us. We just aren't used to that.
I've seen you become more and more open with women, though, too. More and more. I mean, I think you really have good friendships and good support. And the community that you have around your blog is it's such a cheerleading squad for you. And it's just so nice. It's very safe to be there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about the book here, Fat Girl. What's the title? I've been saying it. What's the title?
Fat Girl Walking. Yeah.
Sex, food, love, and being comfortable.
In your skin, every inch of it.
Are you comfortable in your skin every inch of it?
I am.
How? Not because you're not beautiful, but no woman is.
I know. It's so rare and it's hard. It took so many. I mean, it gets better like every year. Like I'm not there. I still have like the down parts, but I bounce back and the good days outnumber bad days, and that's a win for me. So I really just took a lot of time getting to know my body, and fashion and beauty is a huge part of that. It sounds superficial, but if you enjoy putting something on your body, clothes that fit, which is rare.
It's such a true thing. I used to love shopping. When I was 18 and looked good in most things, I really loved
I
it.
was fat then.
I did too.
I know.
We weren't.
We were idiots.
We were dumb. But now I kind of hate it. I kind of hate it, and I don't. Have I evolved, or is it because everything's ugly?
Well, it's hard. It's really, really hard. It's getting easier every year for women to find clothes. But it was hard. I used to go to the mall on a Tuesday afternoon when nobody would be there.
Right.
And I'd spend hours trying clothes on, trying to learn my shape, because I can't pick something off a mannequin. That is not for me.
No, it's not for me.
That's not for me. And it's hard to let that go. Because especially as plus-size women, we don't know how to dress ourselves. We've never gotten to do that before.
Well, and there's not someone giving you a good example. Either it's, what your grandmother, and we love grandma, but it's either really matronly looking or doesn't exist at all.
For some reason, the age demographic for plus-size clothes is like 50 to 60, but straight sizes are always 18.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand what their mindset is in that, but thankfully we're changing that.
So you work with a couple of different brands. What are your favorite fashion brands right now for any shape, but for when we're looking for the arms that don't cut us off or the shirt that doesn't? I mean, what are your favorites?
The brands?
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of. I'm really picky with who I work with, first of all. So I will never work with somebody who I genuinely don't love what they're doing, and I'm a huge fan of ModCloth right now. I'm a huge fan of Eloquy right now. I'm a huge fan of continuously of Lands' End, because what they're doing is they're making accessible clothes across the board. So I don't feel like I'm shopping in a plus size section. Right. I feel like I'm shopping in a women's store, and that makes me feel good.
Right. You feel you're not kind of to the back of whatever.
Right. I'm not an afterthought.
Right.
I'm the thought.
The thought. Oh, that's good. So let's talk about what's the hardest chapter to write?
All the chapters.
All of the chapters. All of
it's
the chapters.
Longer. I'm used to writing like 800 words.
Right. So how long
is
the
chapter?
chapter?
And then like backlisting, I have to reference something. I have to explain everything in this. I googled how to write a book like 50 times.
You can't do links in this.
No.
Watch this video.
No.
So you.
But I would come out of my office so many times like crying. Mm-hmm. But it was the most. It sounds so cliche, but it was super therapeutic. Like,
she worked some stuff
let
out.
Everything go, because now I don't want to relive that on. I'm like, it's been done. I
did that.
Literally closed the book on it.
And this is a memoir, though. I mean, this is.
It's 100% a memoir.
I was going to say, it's even harder than I thought. Oh, there's a bunch of essays that you just kind of,
no.
so funny, let's throw it in it. You actually did some hard work, and
yeah.
What's your favorite chapter? Do you have a favorite chapter?
My favorite chapters are the funny chapters, because that's kind of like my wheelhouse. Yeah. And so anything where I'm in college or working at a summer camp, those things make me laugh, and those were like levity between moments of having to face stuff when you're growing up, which is always hard.
What was the hardest chapter then? Like, this is, do I want to publish this? I mean, you are really good about just putting stuff out there, and this is it, and this is life.
I am, but I've been also really good at only telling my story. Mm-hmm. What I had to do in this book was involve other people. So I think the hardest was talking about things to do with my parents, because suddenly I was having to put other people in this line of story, and that was the hardest.
Did you have to have them be okay with it?
Funny story. I didn't tell them until 2 days ago that they were in the book, and I handed it to them and asked them to please don't read it. Just please don't read it. My mom texted me last night. She's like, I read your book. I'm like, no!
I said, don't read it.
Don't read it. She's like, I didn't hear you say that, but I loved it. Which I saw a psychic based on this anxiety that I was like,
well, because our moms are just the same as us. They did their best, and so then we blame things on them that...
We're very lucky.
Yeah.
The moms coming up now are extremely lucky that they have the tools and the narrative to parent in a way that my mom didn't have.
Right.
And even I didn't have at first.
Yeah, so. My mom, you're going to have more. Have you had enough Doritos? That was my mom.
I know.
I'm like, no, I have not had enough Doritos, and I will never have enough Doritos. There aren't enough Doritos.
No.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I tease her about that, too.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was really good for my self-esteem, Mom.
Right.
Can you have more Doritos?
Then I just hid and ate everything, so it was fine.
So, and we talk about your beautiful daughter, full of confidence. She's young, so she shielded her from some of the more difficult messages for girls.
I was starting to see her do things that I did.
Okay.
Like, when I would look in the mirror, I'd like touch my stomach and kind of sit up. I saw her do it. Like every time she looked in the mirror.
Like you have to have a
and I was
like, 5. Get it
my gosh, like where did you learn? Oh, it was me.
Okay.
It was me. I'm ruining your life. So it was really kind of a situation where I had to relearn how to treat myself in front of her. Mm-hmm. And daughters, obviously, but also sons. Like it's just as important.
Too.
I have 2 boys that came first, and it's easy to kind of push them aside and say, "Oh, body image is a women thing."
Yeah.
But I am also teaching them how to see and appreciate women.
Women. Real women. Yeah. Not photoshopped women. Not porn star women.
Oh, they love when I'm naked all the time. It's like, you're welcome, future girlfriends.
That's
I'm making my body normal.
That's right. Well, that's sarcasm right there.
But I think that the way they're seeing women is hopefully different than the way boys I went to high school with saw women, which was terrible.
Right, and in the history of time, that's a hard thing to change.
No.
That's a hard thing to change.
It's terrible, so I'm hoping that I'm making a dent in that as well.
All right, so I know a lot of moms out there that have Facebook and Instagram and, even bloggers and stuff, and you've really had your family is an integral part of your story, of what you talk about. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Now, how do you protect your kids? How do you, when you tell a story, I think it's something, especially as they get older, something you have to put in your, in your mindset. What do you think about with your kids when it comes to social media?
I think about it all the time.
Spot,
I am. I'm really thankful and super understanding, which is great. I know that going forward, they may not love that their mom doesn't have her clothes on the internet, but I hope that they appreciate. I'm sure it'll be noted in my Wikipedia page somehow that it was all for a good cause. But I do hope that they appreciate what I'm doing, and I try really hard to only tell stories and things that happen to me. And if they cross that story, I'll mention it. But I'm very excited for them to tell their own stories. Right. They all have their own domain names already.
They're really modern.
They're modern
kids.
Millennial
That's
kids.
how I first met you. We profiled you as a Toledo modern family.
Yes.
Right, you still are. I mean,
Yeah.
you really still are. So when it comes to reading That Girl Walking, what do you hope that the reader gets out of it? They purchased the book, and you envision them reading it. What do you see?
I really hope that they're going to probably pick it up and think, oh, this is another girl loves her body story.
You girls loving your bodies again.
Shiny girls in their bodies. But I hope that everybody picks it up, just one chapter in, instantly relates to it, and sort of follows my journey, gets inspired by it, and then when it's over, realize that, oh, this is an issue we all really have to work on, and it's not something that plus-size women are left trying to pick the pieces up of. I'd love to have help.
So the next thing is, what's next for you? What's next for you? Do you know what? I mean, you got the camp this summer.
Yeah, I run an adult summer camp, so that is this
Brittany
summer.
did it first, adult summer
Yes.
camp. But do you want to?
And in between that, I have book tour.
You have a book tour.
Yeah.
And, so do I. No, I'm kidding. That was me hate talking to Brittany. All right. So, but do you see yourself as a blog? Continue with the blog. Continue with book.
I don't think I'm going to ever quit the internet. I love it. It's so instant. This has been terrible because
this took a long time.
It's been a year, and it's like I'm so used to writing something that immediately having a conversation about it.
You can't.
Finally, people are reading it, and I'm like, oh my god, just talk to me about it. What do you have to say? Like, I've been waiting to have this conversation now for a year.
Yeah, and it's finally about to happen.
So staying on the internet is important to me, but there'll be another book. But I will always keep the blog just because it's home.
It's your home. All right, one more thing, and this is the thing I want to tell people about Brittany, because I'll say I know Brittany because I, like to brag. And they'll say, okay, she's going to be an author. I've always wanted to write a book, or I've always wanted to start a blog. I think what people miss about what you do is your persistence and work. Because it looks easy, because here's a book, and we're sitting here talking, or here's my, endorsement deal, or my money. You ask for what you want again and again and again.
Oh yeah, I've never been the golden child of blogging. I've never been that person. I've been doing it for 8 years, and they've been 8 hard years, and I kept my head down, and I never sort of strayed from my content. I never took any money. I never did any of that stuff to sort of take away from what I felt was important, and at the end, I get to still stand and
I just
rise above.
She teaches me. She taught me how to be confident in the way you feel about your body at all times. But I really think what I learned from you is asking for what you want.
Yeah.
So what if someone says the worst thing you can do is say no, right? So what? Someone said no to me before.
Everybody says no to me about everything, and then I do it myself, and then they ask to be a part of it.
Excellent. All right, thanks for watching our very first Periscope. We're no longer Periscope virgins.
Yes.
You'll be doing many more. I guarantee you it'll be like with the biggies instead of just little me. Visit, Amazon has this, Barnes & Noble has this, everything has That Girl Walking by Brittany Gibbons. I highly recommend it for your beach read this summer. Thanks, Brittany. That's perfect. Okay, hit stop on that.